is Gabriel.
I'm
is
TJ.
TJ from Lone Star Loud. Thank y'all for coming out tonight, man. Appreciate
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
We're really
Absolutely,
happy to be
man.
here.
And here we are with Civility Lost.
Yep. So what happened? Mark actually came to audition as the vocalist for Sex Sharpers,
Oh, wow.
and it didn't work out. But he had mentioned something about being a bass player. So while we were looking for a new bass player for our new project, me and Rocky here, hey, remember that guy Mark? He said he plays bass. We called him up. Hey, you play bass, right? Yeah. So hey, you want to check this out? What we're doing? We're doing this original thing. Yeah. And that's the rest of history.
And here we are.
So how was that like for you, Mr. Mark, to get that phone call? I mean, was it like, cool, I'm down, or was it?
Yeah, I was like,
about it. I really wanted to be a vocalist.
yeah. Well, when he said, I'm happy doing either one. I'm happy just being in a band. So it's like, if you can do one or the other, do one or the other. If you got to do both, do both. You know, James sings and covers everything there. I'm happy to play bass and do my thing, man.
Nice.
We got Rocky, who's just a nightmare to keep up with as far as like everything that he's doing back there. So it's just,
Nice.
it's a challenge, dude. It's great.
That's awesome, man. Civility Lost, man. I mean, I guess it's kind of self-explanatory, but y'all's interpretation of the name, how did it come about?
It's actually the name of one of the songs. We were sitting here, what are we going to name this thing? And
We had like a
did
list.
this for months trying to figure
I was
something
sitting around and I thought, like, well, a lot of our music is about the downfall of society, civility, and what's going on in the current world situation.
Took the Black Sabbath route. Was like, just call it that.
So I figured it only made sense. I said, hey, we've already got, I think Civility Lost is a pretty cool, like, it's dark, it's metal, fits us, and I mean, I think we could go with that. So
That's badass,
we
yeah.
used that, and then I found a local artist to draw us up some artwork and a logo.
Nice.
And I wanted to keep it local, not something like commercialized or send my artwork to someone and have them put their spin on it. So I had him, custom draw us up a cool
Badass.
logo, and then we just went with that, and everything, like he said, is history from there.
So I know that talking with you earlier, Mark, you've been in the area for a really long time. It sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Where are you from?
Well, I was born in El Paso, and then I grew up in Maryland till 1978. We moved down here, and then here I am.
Nice.
Yeah.
Since 1978.
Yep.
Nice.
And all over, been here and there in Austin and San Antonio, different places and different, playing in different bands and different people, and it's you got to keep doing it. You have to.
Absolutely. What about you, Mr. Rocky? You've been around this area for a minute, as far as I know.
So I moved here after I got out of the Army, and then I've kind of just floated around the area. And then I got into the music scene through this guy, we met, and then Dave kind of helped me get involved with a lot of the musicians around here. And
Absolutely. Dave's been the catalyst for musicians.
yeah, that
for a
guy, I
long
call him
time.
the godfather of music
Yeah,
around here, because he
absolutely.
kind of brings everybody together and makes
Yeah, he
it
sure
happen.
does.
So,
He's a cool dude.
but
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I've been around here. I haven't really been involved in the music scene more than about 3 years. So this music scene here is still kind of new to me. Where I grew up was Dallas, music scene. There's a huge metal scene up there, so it's a little different. But yeah, I'm sure you know about that.
Well, I tell you, yeah, way back.
So when you move down to these little smaller areas, it's hard to find, bands that are willing to
Not a
go
lot of
out
metal
and play.
bands, yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, just bands in general that go out and support other bands and live music, so.
TJ?
Tell us about the song you guys played today.
Compromise. Okay, so that was actually, I think, the second, maybe the third song we wrote. When me and Rocky were kind of throwing down, Rocky actually came up with some of it. It's funny, it was a joint project. The reason why we picked that song is what we were going to showcase today, was because I think that, and it's not even my favorite song of ours. I think the reason we did that was because that song it really represents and defines our sound. And it may sound like whatever y'all, it just may sound like, a mess, but what I was saying, when I think of like our sound, when I think we have our own sound, I could be wrong, but that there's a particular chord in there, the way the tuning is, that gives it that, and it's that arpeggiated do part,
Yeah.
So what we did was, I think I was already in drop one day at practice we were playing, and I just played a D minor. And I started to build off of that, and then I just started hearing different things, and I heard the bass. I was like, what if the bass, I just came up with that riff, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I was like, the bass needs to play it by itself, and then we just started accentuating. So that was something else we led to doing in a lot of the other songs, was accentuating the beats like that, where me and Rocky would be like, stuff like that in the background.
I'll tell you what, the dynamics, dude, it helps out with that. With like, it just takes you on a wave instead of just go, go, go.
Rocky just was playing on my guitar. He just was messing with it. He was showing me something about Mastodon or something. He said something like Mastodon, but he didn't know he didn't know that the guitar was not in tune. It was in drop. So he started playing it, and I was like, that sounds pretty cool. He didn't know he was playing it the wrong. He was trying to play a bar chord, but the way it was tuned, it had this really weird sound.
Right.
I was like, and I started playing it like that, and I was like, huh, that sounds kind of cool actually. And so I started that arpeggiated, do 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 do, and then I was thinking Rush or something when I wrote that part, and Rocky laid the drums to it, and now we basically have two different songs here. How are we going to move from this beat into this one? Think Hangar 18, right? So I'm just thinking all these different songs in my head of ideas that people have already done and trying to incorporate it into something we can do. I'm ripping them off, but that's all we all do anyways, rip each other off.
I think that's
so.
fair.
I was like, well, I'm taking ideas that other people have.
Inspired by.
There
you go.
I was influenced by these guys. So took this beat, and like, how are we going to move it into this if we just did it? I don't know. Somehow we did it.
I think it was probably about, he doesn't say.
Well, that's the musical
I think
side
it was about
of it.
probably 3 months of just really coming back to it and then leaving it alone, coming back to it, and then sometimes I would
He said it took a while. I don't remember it taking that long.
And we would get frustrated with each other. With the song, and he's like,
We do that on every song.
He's like, you need to do it this way,
As
and I'm
far
like,
as
no,
the-
I'm going to do it this way, and then
As
we
far
all
as the
make
lyrics,
it work out.
it's
so.
kind of interesting. The lyrics part is a little bit more interesting than the music part. The lyrics part was, I was kind of doing comparisons. I had this, when you go to write a song, what's the song going to be about? And sometimes the music itself will help define the tone of what the song's going to be, the topic or whatever. And I was thinking, this sounds dark and sort of depressing or whatever. And I'm like, well, what's kind of like, I'm thinking, I was always got this, we call it parallel between like Rome and America. Like Rome fell and then, America's not doing so good. So when I went to Italy a few times, went to Rome twice. And the first time I went to Rome, I was on a tour and the lady was talking about that. She was like making these eerie similarities between what happened to cause the Roman Empire to fall. And everything she was saying is like, think about what's going on right now. And this was like 10 years ago, and it just kept getting worse. So when I was at the Coliseum, I was out front and there were these two fat Italian guys dressed up like gladiators. And you go take pictures with them and stuff. And it was just a tourist trap. And I go take a picture with them and I was sitting there and it just kind of made me think of like some of these, I was always thinking about that. Those Italian guys out front of the Coliseum. And when I started to write the song about America, like I put it into perspective. It's almost like a time travel song. Like, all right, I was in Rome having all these thoughts about everything. And then you look at America, you're like, so you're like outside the stock market or something. And that's like the Coliseum. And I said, so there's a line in the song, do you think they'll dress like CEOs and reenact the battles that took place inside? Like the gladiator guys.
That's cool,
So
yeah.
it was
Black
sort of
Friday.
Like that. So it's mainly a comparison between like what America's going through now and what I think Rome went through then.
That's
sort
really
of thing.
cool, yeah.
That's kind of what the song, compromise, dissent. So it's like a compromise / dissent. You're compromising on some things, but most of it's dissent.
That is really cool, yeah.
The lyrics are a little twisted.
No,
Exactly.
it's got some deep meaning to it, but
Yeah.
I like it.
Hell
I
yeah.
never felt confident enough to really write music before. And one day,
You're pulling it off.
I'll tell you what it was. The inspiration was open mic. And because there's some bands in there playing original stuff that you're like, and then there's guys like, I'm trying to drop names, but Scott Taylor, he was playing his own original stuff, and I thought it was just fantastic. I was like, oh my God.
I've
So
been
it was
there.
kind of an inspiration to, just to do your own thing there. And we got to that point, I think we made it to like 8. I think we're at around 8 songs. So
Yeah.
we need to just stop until we get something recorded down so we can listen to it,
So what's the plan with the 8 songs, man? Or like an EP or
Yeah, I'm just going to...
doing like a full-length album or?
We're gonna, I think next week, me and Rocky are going to get together while everybody's at work and school and stuff like that, and we'll lay down just the rhythm tracks, and we'll get with Mark later, put in the bass, and then I'm gonna do it at home with what I got, and just if nothing, I'll just do a demo, just to have something.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got most of all the equipment and everything to do it
It's
anyway.
a matter of
so-
doing it.
And the acoustics are pretty good in your house, so I don't think there would be any issues there.
Did it before, it didn't come out too bad, like when I was 16 with analog stuff, so I think I can try it again.
That's
all
really
right.
cool. Something to look out for.
Yeah. It's going to be a little bit of a
next month or so?
headache.
Next week.
Next
Next
week.
week?
It's going to be a little bit of a headache trying to make it all come together and happen, but I mean, like anything that's, worth
It's a lot of work, yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah.
some work, so.
Exactly. If it's worth it, you're
Not
gonna have
gonna
to
be
spend some
easy.
time and
Yeah.
get it done. Absolutely. Well, dude, I appreciate you guys coming out.
Once again,
Dude, thanks
you
for
so much
having us, man. Thanks for having us
Thank you
out
guys
here.
all for
Thank
having
y'all.
us out here and play,
Definitely.
Man, I'm glad to finally get y'all in here too.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for 2.5 years now. Like,
Yeah, like I
since
said,
you guys started this, since y'all.